case study outlines and communicates that you know what you're doing, that you understand the problem, that you understand solutions, you understand online marketing, you understand how businesses operate, you understand what a doctor needs to succeed, right? You've taken something very, very simple and through a 4-stage story-based character-driven case study, protagonist, hero, antagonist, challenge, resolution, climax, you've established yourself as a thinking, compelling online marketer, whether you're an agency or a freelancer. Now, the reason why I told you have to identify yourself as an agency or a freelancer from the get-go is because how you write these case studies is going to differ whether or not you're an agency or you're a freelancer, like we spoke about in the beginning. But again, you don't have in this template. I don't even think you have a website yet, right? How I'm sort of developing this, I don't even think you should have a website, or even if you do, it's not necessary because it's not going to be impactful. What you need now is to develop that. Right, we're doing 10 to 20 reviews in 3 to 6 months, 10 to 20 small projects in 3 to 6 months, which means you're going to have 15 to 30 case studies, because I think you could have more than, depending on the project, you could have more than one case study per project or per client. Because for a client that you did a website audit and a Google Ads campaign audit on, right? Let's say you go, I say, listen, can I do an audit of your account? I'm just going to write you up a written audit. And can I do an audit of your website too? You don't go to a friend. Sure, why not? They'll never say no to that. It's an audit. It's going to be a written report. So that's 2 separate case studies. I did a website audit, a CRO report, and I also did a Google Ads campaign audit. And those could be 2 separate case studies. Okay, so you want to aim for 15 to 20, 25 small case studies. 15 to 20 is a good place to hit. All right, and you make sure you have 1 to 4. You identify the problem the client or your friend or your prospect had, your thought process in discovering the solution, 3 challenges you're going to face. Challenges could come before or after the solution. Doesn't matter. Depends on how you want to structure it. You describe the work that you did. All right. There are so many easy wins: landing pages, LinkedIn profiles, Yelp. Doing a website audit, Google Ads campaign, a Google Ads audit, an online marketing plan, a budget analysis, an ROAS breakdown, a calculator, and you have a lot of the stuff in the agency overdrive that will help you with these easy wins. You could be like, hey, I could do an ROAS breakdown for you to show you how much you have to be getting webinar registrants for in order to be profitable for your business. I can send you a really cool spreadsheet. I've given that to you in the agency overdrive. Just download it, make a copy, and get to work, right? It's really not that complicated. And then write those case studies. Have them in Google, have them in your Google Doc. Okay? Post what you can when you can. So begin posting to your own site if you have one. You do not need to have one yet. Start posting to Facebook. And when you post to Facebook, don't just post a link. Talk about it. Talk about it how you should be talking about something on Facebook, which differs how you would post it on Instagram and LinkedIn, right? Instagram would be more image heavy with a link and a description to the case study. LinkedIn would be more long format. Facebook could be long format as well. Twitter could be just, hey, here's a link to a case study. But make sure you're posting to your social media sites, to your social platforms. So on Facebook, you make a quick introduction. It depends. Maybe the client might not want to be named by name. Of course, you have to get permission if you're going to share any data. I oftentimes blur things out. Use a tool like Snagit to take screenshots, which you could easily blur things out of. And you'd be like, here's a case study that we went through. And you could basically summarize the case study and then link to it if you have it on your own site. If you don't have it on your own site, just write the entire case study on your Facebook page. Write it out. Post the 4 sections in a long Facebook post. Same thing with LinkedIn. You do this, you get to 10, 20 reviews, 10, 20 small case studies, 10 to 20 projects. You are in such an unbelievably strong position. You're in the top percent. You're in the top 1% of people who try to start an agency. You're in the top 1% of people who try to start a freelancing outfit, because most of you and most people do not go through these difficult steps, doing hard work, not making a lot of money, and just investing in the future. I'm telling you, it sounds like you should be doing it. It sounds like it's easy to do. It's not easy. It's going to take time. It's going to be depressing. It's going to be difficult. You're going to feel like you're doing thankless work because you're not really paying your bills yet. But this is the necessary foundation to have something great in the future. And honestly, I failed at this to an extent. I should have been focused more on these case studies and these reviews. I only started doing that a little bit later. I think I would have been in a much better position. But I also did start developing other content like videos, courses, and things like that, which you do not have to do. We're going to talk about ways to really expand through content development and how to advertise that content. That's going to come probably not next week, but not next lecture, but the lecture after. A few different strategies to become a thought leader, let's say, in a specific place. But that's certainly not the only way to get clients. If you have a website that's built professionally, that has 10 to 20 case studies, 10 to 20 client reviews, your services are clear and clearly understood and clearly communicated, you could run PPC campaigns, advertising campaigns, Facebook campaigns, and get clients. I did it. You could get clients. So again, begin getting your reviews and organizing them from every single project. Be adamant. Make sure, follow up. They're your friends, they're your family. Hound them for that review. Do not let them forget. It's very important. It's worth it. It's worth losing the friendships over. I don't know. I'm only partly kidding, but not really. So, and then your case studies, okay? You have to take the time. It might be late at night. It might be 2 o'clock in the morning. You sit down for an hour. You write your case study. You include screenshots. You make it as good as possible. You follow the storyline structure. Okay. And then you begin to post. Now, what you're going to start doing after this is, while you're over the course of this 3 to 6 month process, where you're getting your 10 to 20 reviews, 10 to 20 case studies, your projects, you're getting your referrals from your friends and family. You begin developing the specific services you offer as your core business, right? We've been talking about nothing's beneath your pay grade, you doing all this peripheral work. But you want to start getting a clear understanding. And again, Google Docs is a great place, or a pen and paper is a great place for this. This is not like going on your website yet. Answer the following questions in a Google Doc, and you got to be really clear. And it should not be very easy to answer these questions. You should be able to answer each of these questions in a sentence or 2 sentences, and anybody reading this, and you should give it to your younger sister or a younger brother or a cousin or whatever, and say, here, read this. Do you understand my business? Is it really clear to you? Because you're in it, your head's in it, and it's very easy to lose objectivity because you understand a lot of things based on your experience, based on thinking about this so much. It's like writing a story, writing a novel, writing a screenplay. You'll give it to another person to review and be like, does it work or not work? I've lost objectivity. So first and foremost, what exactly do you do? Are you CRO? Are you PPC? Are you PPC and SEO? Are you just SEO? Are you financial analysts? Are you business consultants? Are you advertising consultants? Are you graphic design? Are you web design? Are you landing page design? Like, what do you do? Like, what are the services you're going to be, your core services that you want to clearly communicate through your website that you offer in exchange for payment? Okay, what do you do? Write that down. Be very specific. Don't just say I do PPC. Because I do PPC, meaning maybe I just do audits. Maybe I manage big campaigns, small campaigns. Do I manage e-commerce? Do I manage lead gen businesses? Do I add tags to your site? Do I not? Do I not do conversion tracking? Right? Be very specific. Who do you help? Are you going to specialize in a specific industry? I think that's not a bad idea. It's not something that we do, but it's not a bad play if you want to specialize in an industry. It's not a bad play at all. I am really not into the idea of a one-stop marketing shop as a freelancer. I just don't think it works. If you're a big agency on Madison Avenue, you certainly could be offering all these services because you have different teams and departments. But like when I see a freelancer agency, like I do SEO, I do content marketing, I do Facebook ads, I do this, it's just like you don't really do anything that well. You're just trying to get business. And like that just comes through. Like you're like, I'm trying to be a jack of all trades, but like it just falls flat. And we've gotten feedback from many clients over the years that told us that they liked that we specialized in PPC, that we were in SEO and video and Facebook and community management and content development and blog writing. And like they really liked that we're really good at paid search and paid advertising. That's what we do. So I would recommend being specific and not trying to be a jack of all trades, not trying to get and when I tell a client like we don't do SEO, like we know how to do it, but we don't do it. It's not a service. It's just not. I could give you referrals. They like that. It increases our close rate because it basically tells the client that you're very, very good at one or two things. What do you charge? What's your pricing structure going to be? I have a couple lectures in the agency overdrive about pricing. Are you going to charge monthly, quarterly? Are you going to charge based on budget? Are you going to charge fixed fees? Are you going to charge some other way? How are you going to charge? Are you going to accept credit cards? Have you set yourself up with FreshBooks yet? What payment process are you going to use? Recurring payments? Think about those things now. Start drafting answers to this. Just write them out in long form on a Google Doc. I promise you it's going to be a helpful exercise. And if you don't do these actual exercises, if you don't keep the Google Docs, if you don't keep the spreadsheets I'm talking about, and you do not generate business eventually, then you only have yourself to blame, because you have to actually do this work. What's your timeline for delivering results? If you're going to be providing conversion rate optimization reports or heuristics analyses, what is your timeline? How long does it take? Is it a 72-hour turnaround? Is it a 1-month turnaround? Is it somewhere in between? Understand your timeline, because you're going to have to communicate your timeline to your clients. And when you're more confident with your timeline, you increase your close rate. It's not about how long the timeline to delivery is, unless it's astronomically long or oddly long or whatever it is. How often do you communicate with your clients? Now, these are all things that could change. They could change next month. God knows we've changed these things over and over and over and over again. But at any point in time, I had an answer. So this is not stuff which is set in stone. The delete key is there for a reason. The eraser is there for a reason. But at any point in time, you should have some answer, even if it's going to change tomorrow. How often do you communicate with your clients? How do you communicate? Is it email only, phone call, cell, text? Will you be involved in their Slack channels? Will you have an Asana team? Will you have a Basecamp team with your clients? Will you not? Make these decisions. If you're going to be looking for higher value clients paying you more, and you're going to be giving more time, more dedication, more communication, then write that out and really weigh the pros and cons of each one and decide on what you want to do. There's no wrong answer. All different ranges of services within a structure could work. It all depends on what you want to do, but it matters that you're clear on it, because you're going to have to clearly describe what you do. The clearer you are, the quicker you'll win business. I promise you that, because clients will be able to understand and rubricate you and your service against other services. And you're going to lose the business sometimes because of it, but that's okay, because the client is specifically looking for something else. We continuously lose business because we have a specific system. We take a few weeks to launch an account. Clients might not like that, and they go somewhere else. No problem. You could go. There's other business out there. But the clients that we do win, and to a large degree, we win because of how clear we are with what we do. We know our timelines. We know our services. We know what we're good at. We know what we're not good at. We know how we communicate. We know how we charge. We could outline the process. And that allows a client to understand us tangibly. It's like, okay, I want the blue box instead of the red box. But you have to be able to clearly communicate that you're the blue box, that you have a color, you have a size, you have a shape. So this is all molding your identity into a recognizable, understandable shape and form. And you have to have answers to these questions. Why should a client hire you, right? And part of that might be because we communicate in a certain way, we offer a certain type of service, but mostly it's not going to be that, because most other companies and agencies and freelancers will offer pretty similar services. Do you know why a client will hire you? The answer is because everything we've talked about up until now, your reviews and your case studies. That is why clients will hire you. They will look at your reviews. They will look at your case studies. They will see similar companies to them that had similar issues to them that you helped. And that is 95% of your job selling them. That's why it's so important to focus on your reviews and case studies. What won't you do for a client? And what I mean by that is, what are the things that you absolutely will not do? So in this stage, most things you will do. If whether or not you're selling Google Ads, if you have a friend or a prospective client that asks you to post organically to Facebook, do it. You should do it. But there might be certain things that you just won't get involved with because you don't know how to do it, or you really don't like doing it. So for me, that's SEO. Like, I might know how to do SEO. I could do it like an on-page thing. I could probably reach out for backlinks. I won't do it because I hate it. I don't really know it that well. I won't do it. I never would do it. I never did do it. So make a list of the things you absolutely will not do. And those things will help you, like I said. It helps you create that mold, that form, who you are in the client's mind. And the clearer you are and what you're not, the more likely the clients that you appeal to will hire you, because it's comfortable, it's comforting, it's security to know exactly what I'm getting myself into. What are the prerequisites for taking someone on as a client? And this is important because there might be certain clients you will not work with. There might be some products that offend you. There might be some clients who have a personality that just you cannot stand. There might be, if you're going to be doing Google Ads, if you're going to be doing PPC, there might be a minimum budget. A client has to be spending at least $500 a month or $1,000 a month on advertising before you take them on as a client. So you should define some hard prerequisites, because again, that helps a client understand who you are and who you are not. It also helps you understand whether or not this is a client you should get involved with. And at this point, at this stage, again, remember, all these things will change. What won't you do for a client will change. As you grow your business, as your revenue is coming in, there's more and more and more things you won't do for a client, and you're going to be able to chisel down to your core services, which is your goal, which is the ultimate goal. And the prerequisites for taking someone as a client might become progressively more comprehensive, or progressively longer. That list might become progressively longer, as it has for us. So our minimum budgets have increased over the years. Our client personalities have, we won't work with clients where there's just a number of red flags. Whereas in the beginning, and I would recommend this, if a client's a little bit annoying, don't worry, just take the client. Do the work. Get the experience. Learn from your failures. But you should have a list of, maybe it's even 2 or 3 or 4 things that are prerequisites for taking someone as a client. It could be a starting budget. It could be a functioning website. It could be they have to have a, maybe they have to have maybe they have to give you a 3-month commitment. I don't know. These are all, like, again, there's nothing that's really a right or wrong answer. When I started, we didn't do anything longer than a month-to-month commitment, and I think that did serve us well. You got to be very clear on these things if you want to start getting business from your site and your online presence. Now, on the right-hand side over here, I have this little picture. I went to the Wacky Wayback Engine and found this from one of our pricing pages on our website probably 4 years ago, and I'm not proud of this. Like, I think it's like, I just think this is terrible. I don't like this platinum package at $650 a month, up to 20 campaigns, up to 150 ad groups, up to 1,500 keywords, 14-day trial. This stuff is like laughably bad looking back at it. But we were still doing business here. Like, we were getting clients, small clients on a regular, consistent basis. And there's a couple things to point out here. One, aesthetically, the production quality is high. And I'm going to review that in the next slide, but then really go into deeper detail into production quality in the next lecture in the series. The production quality is high, right? Aesthetically, things look nice. It looks properly designed. It's extremely important. But the main thing is clarity, right? When you read this and the surrounding elements on this page, it's like really clear that we do PPC management with prepackaged pricing, with prepackaged things. It's very clear on who we're good for, very clear on who we're not good for. We probably turned away a lot of people who were looking for a more flexible, built-out agency. We probably appealed to a lot of smaller businesses that were looking for cheap management in a very structured, clear way, right? So we were clear. We had a form. We weren't just a malleable blob of clay, right, which is no one wants to hire. We were at least something. We were something. Even though I think that this was pretty bad, and I'm not happy that this is who we were, I'm much happier with who we are now, but at least we were something. And that's what I'm trying to communicate, that you have to be, how you have to start thinking about. And that's what you should spend this first 3 to 6 month process, whether it's 1 month or 9 months, whatever, this process of you're getting your reviews, you're getting your case studies, you're getting your first 15 to 20 projects. These are the questions you should begin answering and refining. Okay? Next lecture, we're going to dive into professionalism and production quality. Most of the sites I've seen over the last few years, many of the sites and landing pages have been from students, from you guys. Many of the sites and landing pages have just been from me, just sort of browsing the web, looking at who's who and what's what. Most of the sites of freelancers and small agencies starting, they fall far, far, far below the minimum threshold for professionalism and production quality and production value. You are turning away your prospects. The moment they step into the door, you do not even have the opportunity to sell them because you smell bad, because the lights aren't on. The quality of your website and your online materials, it makes an enormous difference. I cannot impress upon that enough. When I first started, I spent countless hours learning web design, doing it myself, making things look proper, look good. I would be neurotic. I would measure with a screen measuring tool the distance between the top, the height of the average navigation bar, the spacing between navigation links, the hero section pixel heights. Like, I was just like neurotic, and I'm going to get deeper into this idea of copying other sites, replicating sites, pages that you like, structuring your site professionally, production value. I'm going to talk all about that next week. But I don't know, like this screenshot, again, I went to the Wacky Wayback Engine. This screenshot on the right is of our website like probably 5 years ago. And again, I'm not happy about this. Like, I don't think it looks good in the sense of like what I want to communicate or what we're trying to communicate now. Like, I hate burn your competition. I just think it's a terrible headline, but okay. Yes, and I was right. I was writing terrible headlines 5 years ago. A paid search AdWords management company built entirely around your company. I don't even know what that means. What does that mean, built entirely around your company? It's just meaningless to me. But look at the production value. It looks pretty good. Like, it looks pretty professional. And the reason why it looks professional is not because I'm naturally a good web designer. I'm not. I copied this from somebody else I liked. I copied that literally pixel for pixel, the design, the layout, the spacing from another website. Okay? I have a good eye for design in general, but I had a very, very poor eye for web design. I didn't know anything about it. So I had to copy, which is what you do. Anyway, so that's just a preview of what's to come. So this is really important. I know that none of this is rocket science. I know that this is nothing which like groundbreaking. It's hard work. Use Google Docs, get those 15 to 20 friends and family referrals, get those reviews, post them properly, organize them properly on your own site, but don't get bogged down with your own site right now. Really don't. Your main focus is building out these Google Drive folders of case studies, reviews, and projects. That's really what it is. Follow the 4-step structure to the case study. It's got to be a story. It could be short and sweet and to the point. Show as much as possible with images, with video, with screenshots, as opposed to telling. People like to see more than reading. So if you've done graphic design, perfect. Even if you've done a Google Ads audit, perfect. A website audit, perfect. Show a link to your slides. Show them key insights, whatever it may be. And then begin to answer all of these questions in a Google Doc so you could form a clear image of who you are. If any of you watching this have been struggling to get clients, I am willing to bet that you did not follow these steps step by step by step by step. I guarantee it, because if you do this, I'm telling you, you will have a business. It might not be a big business. It depends on what you want to do. Of course, you have to define yourself first. That was the first thing we spoke about, agency versus freelancer. But you will absolutely have a business if you go through this stage. It's going to take a few months. It might take a few weeks. It might take a year, whatever it is. But you will have a business that will be extremely rewarding, extremely satisfying. And you're getting yourself into the position where you can now send traffic to a website that's going to look good, that's going to have a significant amount of validity to it because you have case studies and reviews, and you're going to be able to start getting some business from PPC campaigns and actually earning real money. But there's no shortcut past this difficult work. I will see you guys soon in the next lecture. Let me know what you guys think about this whole topic, this whole concept, this lecture series. Have a great weekend, everybody.